welcome back to my channel. My name's Georgia, I hope you're well. Today I want to talk all things 2025. So I know I'm massively behind on these videos, but I want them out. I want them for myself to look back on in many years time. I want to go through my goals. I want to talk about the books that I want to read this year. I'm going to talk about the most anticipated reads of 2025. All that good stuff. So it's going to be a lengthy one, so I just want to go straight into it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social media, Amazon, Goodreads, all that good stuff will be in the description box below. Let's get into 2025 stuff. I first want to talk through my goals for 2025. Now, some of these don't seem very ambitious to a lot of people, but to me they are, trust me. I've set 5 goals for 2025. So my first one is my reading challenge. Now, in 2024 I read 48 books. But my circumstances last year were different, very different to this year. So last year I had a lot of free time, whereas this year I'm not going to have that. This year's goal isn't set on the amount of books that I read last year, so realistically it should be higher than what I read last year. But I also just want to give myself time to actually enjoy life this year. So my circumstances are very different, so I'm not going to have as much reading time, which is absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love reading, but equally I also want to do life. I have a lot of big things planned this year, so I just want to be able to be present and do that. So my reading goal for this year is 40 books. I do hope I'll read more, and I do think that I might. My second goal is to actually go through and finish some of the series that I started last year. I got into a really bad habit of reading like the first book of a series and then just kind of forgetting about it. So I definitely want to get better at sort of finishing the books that, like the series that I've started already before starting loads of new ones. I am obviously going to start new series, but I am also hoping to try and finish ones I've already started. My third goal is to actually read books off of my physical TBR. Now obviously I'm going to read some KU ones. I'm probably going to sign up for a couple of ARCs this year. I've got a couple I've signed up for already. But for the most part I do want to focus on my physical TBR. So I've got like 275 books, and on the last count I've read roughly a quarter of them, which is shocking. I've come to the conclusion that like collecting books and reading books are two very separate hobbies. So I am just kind of accepting of the fact now that like I'm going to collect books, but I do want to focus on reading the books I actually own this year now and trying to buy less books, but that's not going to stop. So I'm going to focus on trying to read my physical TBR. My next two are more just sort of like recommendations for myself, not necessarily challenges, but I want to read outside more this year. I love reading outside. Now I live in the UK, so we don't get a lot of good weather, but if the weather is slightly warmer or like partially sunny and cloudy or whatever, I do want to try and get out and read. Like I'm looking outside now, it's blue sky, the sun's out, and I do kind of want to go and sit in the garden and read. It is only 6 degrees though, but chuck a coat on and I'll be fine. But that's my goal for this year. I want to get outside and read more. And then sort of like my fifth goal is I really want to do the pennies for pages challenge. So it's basically every time you finish a book you put the page number of pennies into a savings account. So I have started this already. So where is my thing? So I've only got 3 books on there at the moment, but I have read 4 already. So fourth ring was 646 pages according to Amazon, so I put £6.46 in a savings account. The Housemaid was 336, so I've put £3.36 in a savings account. And then obviously at the end of the year, all the books that you've read, you've then saved money from all of those books. Like, it's just such a cool concept and I love it. So I just think it's a really incredible way to save money, and it also motivates you that a little bit more to actually read your books. So they're my goals for 2025. And I want to go through sort of like the books that I plan on reading this year. Obviously this isn't everything. I'm just going to give you sort of 10 books series that I want to try and get to. I'm going to first talk about the books that are coming out in 2025. 2 of them are out by the time I'm filming this because I've been slacking this year, but for the most part they won't be. I'm going to try and do them in order. So first one is Onyx Storm. I have my paper copy and my hardback copy already. That came out on the 21st of January. It's been one of the most anticipated releases of 2025, and I'm pretty sure it's been like one of the best sellers for 20 years or something daft like that. Like, she has smashed it. But I am so excited to get to this. I am currently reading Iron Flame as a buddy read with my partner, so we're about a third of the way through the book at the moment, I think, and we're loving it. But I am so excited to finally get around to Onyx Storm. So far there's 3 books out. I think it's going to be around a 5-book series, but it's the Empyrean series. I just call it the Fourth Wing series because I never feel like I say that right. I love it so far. I've read book 1 and like I say a third of book 2, but book 3 is now out. Go get it. The second book that I'm going to talk about is again one that I have already mentioned. I read it in January and I loved it. It was an ARC that I read and that's All I Ever Needed by Emily Catlow. So this book can be read as a standalone, but the main male character in it has also come up in a previous book of hers already. So this one's about Luke, who is mentioned in book 2 of the Rippers MC series, and it's about Luke and Ava. So Luke is recently out of prison, and it's sort of how he's navigating life now that he's out, and then Ava is also sort of like navigating her own life, a single mum, soulmates, it's always been you sort of situation. And honestly, the book is incredible. It came out on the 30th of January and I enjoyed it so much. I literally ate it up. I read it in like 4 days. It was so good. I loved it. I would highly recommend getting that one. It is on KU and it is also available on Amazon in paperback as well. The next book I'm really excited for is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. That comes out on the 1st of April. Now, I don't really like to know too much about books before going in, but it's Abby Jimenez, so I'm sure it'll be a lovely romance book with some very heavy mental health related topics in. I've read Yours Truly and I've read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, and I loved them both. Absolutely love them both. So I'm really excited to read some more of her books in 2025. The next one I want to talk about is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. Now, I've got 3 of her other books here. So this is book 4 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. So this comes out on the 15th of April, which is my partner's birthday. So I'm going to have to be really good at not reading that the second it arrives. But yeah, it's book 4. I think it's about Dusty and Camille? Something like that. Something along those lines. But yeah, it's another one that I'm really excited for. I've read 2 of the books from that series and I absolutely love them. They're very similar to the Elsie Silver ones if you've read those. They're just sort of dual POV, spicy romances, interconnected standalone, cowboy smart. So excited. I absolutely loved the other 2 that I've read from that series and I plan on reading book 3 very soon. So I'm very excited to get book 4 on my bookshelves and get it read. And then the last book that I'm super excited for in 2025 is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. So I've got Powerless and Reckless and Powerful up here, and I absolutely love those 3, so I'm definitely excited for book 4. With book 3, technically it is a trilogy, but obviously there's the novella as well. So Reckless ends with such a cliffhanger, and honestly I have been losing my mind over it since I read it when it first came out. I literally read it within a week of it being released, so I've been waiting and waiting because the ending of that book, it blew my mind. I was literally sat on the sofa screaming to myself because I was just like, what the fuck? No. So I have been patiently waiting, and that finally comes out in April. I want to say the 8th. Yeah, so Fearless comes out on the 8th of April, so it comes out before Wild and Wrangled. It's honestly one of my most anticipated reads of the year. I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I love Lauren Roberts' writing. I love Reckless and Powerless equally. I know some people tend to like one or the other and don't really like them both. I loved them both. So it is a trilogy, so this is the last one in the series, and I just can't figure out how she's going to wrap this all up, and I'm scared, I'm terrified, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. April literally can't come fast enough. There's 3 books in April that I'm so excited for. I feel like April's going to be such a good reading month. I cannot wait. They're the books that I'm really looking forward to coming out this year, and now I'm going to talk about ones that are already on my bookshelves that I'm really excited to read, or just like series that I really want to get to finish in. The first one that I want to talk about is the Beast of the Briar series. So this is book 1, which is Bonded by Thorns. This is, I think it's a completed series, I'm not entirely sure, but I've got the first 4 books. So this, I believe, is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Now my really good friend Faye has actually read these and highly recommended them. She bought them me for Christmas. Like I said, this is book 1. So it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It's super spicy. I think it's like reverse harem type situation. It does say on the front, 1 human woman, 4 fae princes, a villain from below, and an unbreakable bond. I'm really looking forward to getting to these. She absolutely loves them. She said they're so good, the spice is incredible. And I love a Disney retelling. I've literally got a shelf of just Disney retellings up at the top as well. But I'm definitely looking forward to reading this one and this series. This is the smallest one. The rest are huge, like literally huge. So I do think it's going to take me a while to get through this one, but the writing is quite big, so it's not all bad. They look incredible. They sound great. Faye raves about them, so they must be good. But I definitely want to read these this year. They're, like I said, I've got 4. I don't know if there's more or not, but I definitely want to read these in 2025. The next series that I really want to read in 2025 is it The Crowns of Nyaxia? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is book 1. So this is Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Now, I do want to read this really soon. I've heard so much good things about this book, and I do have the first 2 in the series. So I've got this one, and The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King is the second one. I've got that down here as well. This is like a vampire type fantasy romance. Again, I think it's quite a spicy one. So basically, I think it's sort of like a human girl trapped in a vampire world basically, but I think it's quite a smutty one. I've heard really good things. It's really high fantasy, romance, quite a lot going on, I believe. It sounds incredible. It sounds really good. I'm not going to try and read the back of it because I'm so dyslexic when I try and read out loud. It's so bad. But it sounds really good. I'm really excited for it. I will probably read this in the next few months because I'm excited. I'm excited. I really want to read it. There's 4 books in the series, I think. So there's sort of like these 2 and then there's 2 more sort of based off them. But I do think it's part of the same series. Same world, same group, but 2 different POVs maybe, I don't really know. But I'm really excited for this one. The next series that I want to talk about is the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy. So this is book 1, I think there's 6. I've got 4 on my bookshelves. Yeah, I read this sort of like mid last year maybe, and I didn't love it, but I've seen so many reviews that say that like book 1's not great, but it gets so much better. So I do want to give it a chance. Like usually if I read the first book and I don't enjoy it, that's me done with it, like I'm not bothered. But I've just heard so many people say just stick it out. And when I posted on my story to say like I don't really understand the hype with this book, it's not for me, everyone was like no, give it a chance, read the next one. If you don't like the next one, fine, but they get better the more you read. So I really want to stick this out. But finding the motivation to read book 2 when you don't enjoy book 1, I find so hard. Like I just didn't enjoy it. So I think it was still like a 3-star read. I didn't hate it. They killed off my favourite character, which I wasn't happy about. It's another fantasy romance one. All I'm talking about is fantasy romance. I clearly want to be in my fantasy romance era this year. I don't think there's any just romance books on here. There isn't. I don't know what that's about. I read more romance than I do fantasy at the minute, but I'm clearly trying to get back into fantasy this year. I really want to give this series another chance. Like I say, book 1 went for me, but everyone says it gets better, so hopefully I can get into it a little bit more in 2025. We'll have to just see and give it a go. The next series I want to talk about for 2025 hopefuls is the Kindred's Curse saga. So this is Spark of the Everflame, which is book 1. I just nearly hit myself in the face with that, did you see? So this again is another fantasy romance. Raven-haired reader on YouTube that's really got me wanting to read these. So she loves these books, really raves about them. And they've been on my radar for a very long time, and I finally got them for Christmas at the end of 2024. I think it's sort of like dragons and descendants. It's not really like fae or anything like that, but it's like the descendants or descendants, I don't really know. Descended. Known as the Descended. I think I'm saying that right, but it's like demigods and that sort of fantasy level. And I do think there's dragons and some other like fantasy creatures and things like that, which I'm really looking forward to. But it's another one that sounds really incredible. Really high stakes, really good romance sort of throughout the book, so I'm really looking forward to reading these ones. This again is another one that I'm hoping to read within the next few months because I have been dying to read them. I'm actually changing my mind on what I want to talk about next because I'm sick of talking about fantasy. We're going to switch it up and I'm going to bring back some cowboy smut. So I haven't actually read any other of Elsie Silver's books, so like I've read these ones, which is the Chestnut Springs, but I've not read the Gold Rush Ranch, and I've not read, is it Rose Hill? Rose Hill. I'm just going to put Elsie Silver as a whole on here. I just want to read some more of Elsie Silver's books. I find these really good sort of like palette cleanser books. So if I've been reading a lot of fantasy, I tend to flick back to some Elsie Silver cowboy smut just to sort of cleanse the palette, just get sort of back to basics, and I just get so lost in her writing and in her books. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to these. I read all of the Chestnut Springs series in 2024, so hopefully I'm going to just fly through the rest of her books this year because I just love them so much. I have got book 1 and 2 in the Rose Hill ones as well. I know book 3 comes out this year as well, I believe. So I'm hopefully going to get around to that as well. But I absolutely love her books. I just think they're so good. I think it's a very similar vibe, just like dual POV, interconnected standalone type books. And I do think that we have already met some of the characters in Jasper's book, Powerless. Don't they go to Gold Roof Ranch? Is that right? I think that's right. Who knows? I absolutely love Elsie Silver's writing, so I'm really excited to read these this year as well. So that is all the things that I'm planning on getting up to in 2025, the books I want to read, the goals that I've set, the ones I'm excited for releasing this year. And honestly, I'm hoping it's going to be a good reading year. I do feel like overall I had a pretty good year last year. Like I said, there weren't many less than 3-star reads, or only a couple of DNFs, so I'm really hoping for another really positive reading year this year. Give me some motivation. If you've read any of the books that I've spoken about so far, please just motivate me to read them because I can't bring myself to do it yet and I really need to get on it. I really hope that you have a good reading year this year. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading and what you're looking forward to getting to, or any books that you're really excited for coming out this year as well. that's everything for today. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And as always, my social medias, Amazon, Goodreads and stuff will all be in the description bar below. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I really hope you're well. Take care.